Okay, so let's just dive right into this one. We're about to walk through a really intense personal story. And honestly, it's a bit of a cautionary tale about what happens when the fantasy you're chasing crashes head on into the life you've actually built. Right from the jump, we get this confession. And this one sentence, man, it just paints a picture, doesn't it? A marriage that's gone ice cold. It's all about that late night loneliness and, that desperate search for something else, anything else.
So, the big question is, how did things get this bad? Well, that's where we're starting. It wasn't a big explosion, it was a slow fade. Just this quiet dissatisfaction and this growing distance between our narrator, a 29-year-old named Kelly, and her husband, Carter.
And here's the picture we get of Carter. He was probably once the stable, dependable guy. But from Kelly's point of view, now he's just settled into this gray routine. He comes home, grunts, and collapses. It feels like the man she married just isn't there anymore. And this right here, this is the day-to-day grind that was just eating away at her. It wasn't one big fight. It was the little things, piling up day after day. Just this feeling of being completely stuck, totally unappreciated, and living a life that just felt small. And then the thing that changes everything happens, the catalyst. And it all starts so innocently, with a simple little message from an ex-boyfriend from college, a guy named Chuck. That's it. That's all it took. This one little message pops up from Chuck, who, by the way, looks super successful and put together in his profile picture, and it just sparks something in her that's been dead for months. It's that little hit of validation that she was starving for at home. And would you look at how fast this thing snowballs? I mean, it starts with innocent reminiscing, right? But it spirals so quickly into this deep emotional connection. He's filling a void, and every single step you see here is a step she's taking further and further away from her husband. So naturally, this new secret connection starts creating this huge contrast with her real life. Kelly starts comparing the two men, like all the time, and in her head, her husband is coming up really, really short. I mean, this chart really says it all, doesn't it? In her mind, Carter is just comfortable mediocrity. He's the trap. But Chuck, he's the dream, the ambitious, exciting, sophisticated life she thinks she deserves. One is her reality, the other is a perfectly curated fantasy. And then Chuck says this, and these words hit her like a ton of bricks because he's basically just saying out loud the exact same thing she's been thinking about herself. He's validating all her unhappiness and pretty much giving her permission to leave. A secret affair like this can't stay hidden forever. Sooner or later, it's all gonna blow up. And it does. It all leads to this massive confrontation where Kelly is forced to pick a side. And boy, does she. She decides to just burn the whole thing down. So Carter finds the messages on her laptop. And when he confronts her, her first move isn't to apologize or explain. Nope. She goes right on the attack, yelling at him for invading her privacy. What do you do in that situation when you're cornered and you know you're in the wrong? She's furious. And in that moment, she decides to say the one thing she knows will end the argument and their entire marriage for good. She reaches for a weapon, not an apology. Wow. Just wow. These words aren't just an angry outburst. This is a verbal kill shot. It's something designed with, surgical precision to cause the most pain imaginable to the man she promised to love. This is the point of no return. But here's the twist. She's expecting a huge screaming match, but that's not what she gets. His reaction is just quiet. It's devastating. He doesn't fight back. He just packs a bag. Her words didn't start a fight. They just ended everything right there on the spot. All right, now we get to the fallout, the immediate aftermath. That shiny fantasy she was chasing is about to smash right into cold, hard reality. And it's not going to be pretty. And things unravel fast, like really fast. Carter files for divorce almost immediately. He's done. And Chuck, the great escape? The second things get real, he slams on the brakes. And then, the absolute biggest complication you could imagine. She finds out she's pregnant. So she tells Chuck about the baby, and this is his response. Are you sure it's mine?
Talk about a total and complete betrayal. In that 1 second, the sophisticated, caring fantasy man just vanishes, and he's replaced by a guy who wants zero responsibility.
So here we are, the final chapter. This is about the long-term reality of her choices. Carter's gone, Chuck's gone, and Kelly is left completely, totally alone to deal with the life that she created for herself.
And what does that new life look like? Well, it's the exact opposite of the one she dreamed of with Chuck. She's a single mom struggling with money in a tiny apartment, raising a kid whose father wants absolutely nothing to do with him. And while this is her reality, she has to watch from the sidelines as Carter doesn't just move on, he thrives. He finds someone new, he gets engaged, they buy a house together. He's building the exact life Kelly could have had if she hadn't torched it.
And this is where the big, painful light bulb finally goes on for her. Carter wasn't lazy or unambitious. He was content. He was a good, stable guy. She saw his security as a weakness, but his new partner saw it for what it was, a strength. And it all comes down to this one brutal, devastating conclusion. She traded something real, something loving and stable, for a complete illusion that just vanished the second it got a little inconvenient. She chose the fantasy, and it left her with absolutely nothing.
So the whole story leaves us with this really powerful and kind of unsettling question, doesn't it? It's a heck of a reminder to maybe appreciate what's right in front of us and to be really, really careful about the fantasies we choose to believe in.